Life can be unpredictable. Its various events influence the ups and downs of people's experiences. It can be tough. It can be brutal. And sometimes it can feel like the gravity of the world is keeping you down. Keiichiro Toyama addresses these themes in a game called Gravity Rush. Using a mysterious, positive, but sometimes dark tone, Toyama utilizes various characters, theming, and depth to complement the structure, world building, and interactivity of a world that aims to convey a narrative that expresses messages about everyday life. All within the boundaries of a motion comic style. These strategies establish an emotional and logical appeal to an audience that's possibly comprised of various artists, comic fans, and the most depressed group of them all, gamers. Gravity Rush uses various elements that craft a new, original story that breathes new life into the superhero genre, while giving explicit and implicit messages about the importance of making the most out of bad situations. The way you handle it not only benefits you, but the people around you. The story structure and characters express the themes about the unpredictable nature of life by taking the reader along for the story. This is because the main character, Kat, has amnesia. Her unawareness of the world she's in and the uncertainty of what she can encounter is shared with the reader. This is emphasized by one of her first lines of dialogue. "I don't want to go forward, but I couldn't go back." This creates a synergetic relationship between the main character and the reader, since they're experiencing the themes and messages of a story as they're conveyed to the main character. The themes about the unpredictable nature of life are often implicitly conveyed to the reader through the way the story presents itself. It's non-linear and focuses more on Kat's everyday life rather than the major story beats. It throws seemingly random story segments at the reader, which reflects the theme's life on unpredictability and how negative experiences can be turned into positive ones. Because despite being random and unpredictable, the comic still maintains a sense of engagement and clarity, turning what sounds like a bad viewing experience into a good one. Additionally, an emotional appeal is established with the reader as they're slowly exposed to Kat's character. She could be described as bubbly, optimistic, and positive. Her infectiously positive attitude is what pushes the story forward and what complements the other characters as well as the overall story structure. This is explicitly shown to the reader from the beginning through her expressions and body language, as well as her superpower of gravity manipulation. Despite waking up with amnesia in a world that's unfamiliar to her, she decides to build a new life in this world and help others while doing so. Life threw her a curveball, and she chose to catch it. Not only benefiting herself, but also the others she interacts with, often inspiring them to live life the way she does. Both of these elements weave into each other to create a story with themes that tackle life experiences, which is only emphasized by how these comics handle world building. The world building reflects the themes of the story by visually representing them to the reader. This is because of its incredibly crafted depth. Not only are there a plethora of locations for Kat to explore, but there are also specific peoples and cultures that inhabit those locations. These things are often shown directly to the reader to maintain the methods it uses to convey themes and messages. The world building actually has its roots built upon a famous comic artist named Moebius, who had his influence on Studio Ghibli films and other anime through his French art style. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be using the graphic novels The Eyes of the Cat from 1978, as well as Inkall from 1981. These comics heavily influenced the entire concept behind Gravity Rush and its world. This is apparent when you compare it to the game's promotional art. It comes off as very uncertain, unique, and bold in its presentation. It utilizes various European influences for its art style and world, and even has a unique, original language that's shown and spoken to the reader throughout the story. Each location that Kat visits has its own distinct mood, as well as people that act appropriately to the setting. When crafting this world, Toyama made sure to convey everything the reader needed to know about it, even taking it as far as showing the social structure of the world's various floating cities and towns, as well as the government that facilitates them. The higher you go, the more rich people are. The lower you go, the poorer. And the people who are in just the right place live in the middle. And it's all conveyed through a Japanese and European-inspired world. It's never explicitly said either, in fact it's often logically challenging the reader. All of these things are implicitly shown in order to maintain the relationship between the reader and the main character's perspectives. As the world keeps building, the reader and Cat are experiencing all of the unpredictabilities of the world inside of this game. This use of world building is very effective in conveying the themes because so much of it is unpredictable and it goes in depth with the lives of the people that inhabit it. Again, it conveys that idea that life has its ups and downs. In the case of this story's world, people's lives literally go up and down, with unpredictable circumstances in between. Kat's character ripples through these circumstances to change the world to be more positive. As a character that manipulates gravity, she unifies a world that's separated by it, often helping the poor when the rich literally look down on everyone, which is tied together by how this whole experience handles interactivity. The interactivity of this experience adds depth to the story, literally and figuratively. This is because of the medium in which this comic is presented. It's a video game. It's meant to be interactive. Not in the sense that you flip the page or go at your own pace like in a comic book, but you can influence the main character's choices and interact with the people in the world, as mentioned earlier. It's most evident from the game's use of the panels and the game world. This level of interaction is what ties the whole experience together. With the comic segments being presented as they are, they get to be creative in how they present the progression. We've discussed the conveyance of the ups and downs of life throughout this essay, positives and negatives, if you will. Here it's conveyed through the way the panels move. The world is conveyed through each panel, thus it represents the life of these characters. When put into motion, we get to see that they go up, down, left, right, and sometimes on top of each other. Each movement adds depth to these images, and it can be considered a somewhat implicit representation of the story's themes, which are subtly conveyed to the audience. It's consistently moving forward and unwavering in the face of the story's uncertainty, which is exactly what the story is about. The progression of this story is unpredictable in its presentation, but makes up for it through its use of art style, character, world building, and aesthetics, very unlike anything anyone has ever seen. Ignore that. Not only does the audience get to experience the story with the main character, but they get to be the main character. They get to influence the story and experience everything as if they were in the world themselves. This interactivity is what ties the experience together and what enhances various elements that effectively convey themes and messages to the audience. And that's why life can indeed be unpredictable. Gravity Rush, as an alternative comic medium, tackles the things that make it unpredictable and takes it to the extreme in many cases. Its experiences, difficulties, and brutalities of what people can face are represented by the gravity that segregates the world and its people. By tackling these themes, Keiichiro Toyama has crafted an interactive story that breaks the boundaries of normal comics and entertainment by using various explicit and implicit messages about the importance of making the most out of bad situations. Life has its ups and downs, but it can get better based on how you handle it. Be the gravity that keeps the world together. Help others so that they can help you.